Techies, welcome to our YouTube channel Local Techies. You're watching Performance Testing Series by me, Sneha Bellala. Let's start. In today's class, we are going to see Recording Options Part 2. In this, I am going to cover mapping and filtering in recording options, and we will also see how to record a sample application. Let's dive in. First, I am opening my virtual user generator. So this is my VuGen. Let me create a new script. I'm selecting single protocol web HTTP HTML and let me name my script as demo1. So now my demo1 script has been created and I'm clicking on this record button to open my record pop-up. So the script architecture and the other details, I will be discussing it in my next video. Please stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to record my sample application in a web browser and the browser shall be Google Chrome, and this is my URL which I'm recording, and the recording options present here on the left bottom. To learn more about this, please check out my previous video on recording options part 1. So this or the other options I'm leaving it as defaults, and now I'm clicking on start recording. Here my browser window opens with the application URL provided in the start recording pop-up. Well, till my application loads, let me discuss the options available in the recording toolbar. Here you can see the recording events number which is getting increasing. So these are the events which are being captured by LoadRunner. And here this is the stop, pass and cancel recording buttons respectively. And here you can see the action VUser end. These are the script parts of your VuGen. We will discuss this in detail in next video. And this is nothing but inserting a new action block in your script while recording itself. These two options are to insert a start and end transaction, and this option is to insert a Renduos point in your application recording. To know more about the Renduos point, refer to my previous video on performance test objectives. And this option inserts a comment when you are recording, and inserting comments makes your scripts more readable. And this is an option to insert a validation point. This is a text check. We will also see this option in our next videos. Please wait until your page completely loads, and here you can see the events recording has also stopped, and I will show you how to insert a comment. I am going to insert a comment now to make my script more readable. So let me insert a comment like so. I'm going to click on my account and log in here. And now I'm going to provide a username and password. I'm inserting another comment saying that I'm going to log in. So you can see the events are getting recorded here. So let me navigate to any other page so that we will get more lines in our script. Let me move to desktops here. And I will go to phones as well. Now I'm logging out of my application. Let me close my browser and click on stop. You can see my VUser script is getting generated. Now my script has been generated and the recording report opens. So this is my action.c where my actual script recording is present. Now if you can see, there is some Mixpanel, min.js, cdm, mx, pnl.com and all this, and this dynamic config.json. All these, they do not belong to my application, and this seed URL, it is from Google APIs. We did not record this. So in my recording report, you can see here what all the details it gives us, the number of bytes sent and received, and these are my requests and connections made to the servers, the date and time of recording, the duration, what are the different response codes it received, and content types. It gives you a graph. And here, if you see on your left hand side here in the main hosts and more details, here you can see like it has recorded not only my opencart.com application but also some external traffic which has got recorded in my recording. So whenever you record a business process, a portion of this generated traffic is generally not related to the actual business process. For example, the Chrome browser which we have used to record our OpenCart demo application accesses many external servers. This overhead will not be meaningful for our load test. That means if you run your load test as it is with all these external server requests, it will not be a proper load test because you are not only hitting your intended application under test but also some other external servers as well. These are not required for our load test. So how do we filter all these external servers is, one, like you have already recorded and generated your script, and after the recording report appears, you can just uncheck all these check boxes, which is the external traffic, and you can click on this regenerate button. I am intentionally leaving out the Google APIs. I will show you another place where you can filter it out. So first I have unchecked it. I'm clicking on regenerate and yes. Now what LoadRunner does is it will filter out all the captured requests pertaining to these particular external servers which you don't want in your recorded script, and it will regenerate the user script. So now my script is regenerated. Let us check. I am going to ignore Google APIs for now. So now can you see your script is more precise and crisp. You have only the request pertaining to the application under test, whatever you are recorded. And here you can see my comments in place, which makes my script more readable. Like I said, that means click on desktop means all these requests and headers are pertaining to that particular section of my recording. Now let us see the second part where I can filter out all these external traffic. So we have left out Google APIs, right? Now let us see where we can do it. Now moving on to my recording options, I'll open my recording options. So here under network, mapping and filtering. So this port mapping and filtering, traffic filtering feature allows you to specify the behavior of specific traffic, or it will also help you to exclude certain server port combinations from your vUser script. First, this port mapping in the top. Here is where you specify what sort of traffic to record from which port, and at the bottom you have a space for traffic filtering. What it does is it extends the capabilities of port mapping by letting you list the URLs and ports to exclude. In port mapping, here you cannot use any wildcards, but here in traffic filtering you can. If you can observe, the CloudFront, MX, Mixpanel.com, WebEx.com, all these we excluded from our recording report. Now these were automatically added in our traffic filtering option. So for the next further recordings, all these traffic will be automatically filtered. So using this traffic filtering, you can add an entry with this new entry button, or edit an entry or delete an entry also. Here you can use wildcards to exclude all the traffic associated with a specific domain. You need not give all the URLs. You can simply give a regular expression and specify the URL here and it will exclude all the traffic pertaining to it. You may, for example, you can filter out only SSL traffic coming to port 443 also. Once you define an entry, you can clear its checkbox temporarily to disable it also. Or you can enable it again by reselecting it. You can selecting a filtering level as well. One is during the recording or during the code generation. The advantage of excluding undesired traffic from the recording session is that your script will be lighter and it will have an increased performance. If you have specified all these filtering options in your before you start your recording itself, then it will be more light, your script will be lighter. If you do it after recording, the benefit is that the traffic will be recorded and it will be accessible to you if you need it at a later point. You can then reapply this different filter without having to re-record the business process. So this is the advantage of filtering it after the code generation. Now, there are two types of main recording levels present here at port mapping. One, the socket level data, and the other is the WinINet level data. These two options are very important and it is mostly even asked in your performance testing interviews as well. Let us see that in details. First, let us see what is the socket level data. Socket level data is the default option and it is owned by Micro Focus. It is a lighter engine and it is also highly scalable and supports non-Windows platforms also. Whereas your WinINet level data, it is owned by Microsoft, uses Microsoft WinINet DLL to talk to the network card. It captures HTTP and FTP traffic only. Port mappings are not relevant here. You can see once I select this option, this entire part has grayed out. And this does not support non-Windows, like it is not applicable for Unix or Linux OS. And basically this is designed for Windows and IE combination, that is Windows and Internet Explorer. If you need integration with Microsoft security infrastructure, that is using a website user function, you will need to use WinINet. And you will need to use a Windows based load generators as well. And yes, these uses more system resources and it does not exactly emulate the modem speed or the number of connections. Now, let us see the options available with socket level data. When I select socket level data, again this area comes into use. Here, when you click on new entry, so here what you can do, the option is you can provide the target server. Target server is nothing but the IP address or the host name of the target server for which this entry applies. You can give any IP or host name. Default value is any server. And port is the port of the target server for which this entry applies. Here is where you can include forced mapping. If you specify a mapping of a port in this option, server name and a port, using this combination, VUGen forces to record the network traffic that is happening only in this particular combination, the target server and port. For example, if you specify any server and on port 80 and if you use to record only an FTP communication protocol which is happening, even though your application records only HTTP traffic, what VUGen does is it will ignore that HTTP and it will record only FTP. As there is no FTP in your application, you will get a blank script. Now, this is a service ID. So what you do in a service ID is you give a protocol, a service name used by the recorder to identify the type of connection, that is this HTTP, FTP, so on. You can also specify a new name and the name will not exceed 8 characters. Next, the option available is the service type. It is currently set to TCP. Now the recording type is the type of recording, either directly or you have to record it through a proxy server. And the connection type is the security level of the connection. Is it plain, that is non-secure, or SSL or auto? If you select auto, the recorder checks the first 4 bytes for an SSL signature. If it detects the SSL signature, it assumes that an SSL is being used. Next, the SSL version. Here if I select SSL, then these options get enabled. So SSL version, the preferred SSL version to use when communicating with the client application and the server. Default value is SSL 2/3. However, some services require only SSL 3.0 or only 2.0, and some new wireless application requires the transport layer security algorithm, that is TLX 1.0, 1.12, so on. So for these you can use these particular SSL versions. Next comes the SSL ciphers. The SSL cipher, it is to use when you are connecting to a remote secure server. To enable OpenSSL, to choose the default cipher value automatically and select default OpenSSL ciphers in this drop-down list. To define your own cipher and add it to the drop-down list, select this Add New SSL Cipher option. And you also have an option to remove the SSL cipher which you have added also. Next, use the specified client-side certificate. This client-side certificate, it is used when you are connecting to a remote server, and the certificate file should be in a format TXT, CRT or PEM format. And you can also have an option to supply a password, and use specified proxy server certificate. The default server certificate to present to client application that requires a server certificate. Once you provide the server certificate, you can click on this Test SSL button to check the authentication information against the given server. These are the options available, and these are the further options. This is for auto detection of SSL and auto detection of the socket based communication. The other options are self-explanatory, so I'm leaving it as it is. Now if you remember, I have left the Google APIs by default here, so I will show you how to filter it from the recording options. Here I have already generated the script, so I'm going to just regenerate my script. Here you can see the button on the toolbar, regenerate your script. I'm going to select that. So once my regenerate pop-up appears, here can you see the options button available? This is nothing but it opens your recording options here, and I'm clicking on mapping and filtering, and under traffic filtering I'm clicking on new entry, and my target server is Google API. So any traffic pertaining to googleapi.com I need to filter. So what I will do is I'm giving star, I'm in an open parenthesis, I'm going to give a regular expression dot star and question mark, means all the traffic, whatever you can have any text in the beginning of that URL, but it should end with googleapis.com. I'm going to exclude it in all ports. Filtering level is code generation right now. I'm going to click on OK and select OK again. And once I click on OK here, my script will be regenerated, excluding that traffic. Now it's performing post generation operations. Now my regeneration of script is done and my recording report has opened again. Here can you see googleapis.com has been excluded. Let us check it in our script here. So all the headers and the functions which were pertaining to googleapis.com has been filtered out. Now all the URLs and all the info here in my script is pertaining to demo.opencart.com, that is the application we have recorded. So this is how you filter out the unwanted traffic, external ads or external server traffic from being recorded in your script. And you have also seen how to record a script. I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching this video. Do like, share, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on the Instagram for more exciting stuff and have fun with the quizzes there. Bye-bye.